My hat! So the GTR shocks I really like from Traxxas. They're very good. If you have a slash, it's a must. You must get the big bore GTR shocks. For the front, you can get the long, and then for the rear, you would get the XX-Long, so extra, extra long. Those are the ones, those are the best options, and it's these here with the threaded bodies, so you can easily adjust the springs. You do not need to use the little clips that go in there for the springs. But the other reason too is this little mount where the spring goes. There's a screw, so that they screw on so these don't fall out, which is fabulous. These stock Traxxas shocks do not have that. The other thing too is these have they're not just bigger bore, but they have much thicker shafts as well, so they do not bend as easily. I mean, I've had these on several slashes that I've built for other people, family members, friends, and they just work, which is great. So definitely a must, as the stock shocks are not very good. Now, what I have here, I have a total of 8 shocks, which I am going to install in my Tmaxx. Now, the Tmaxx, there is a kit for $100 that uses, they're called the big bore shocks. They're not really big bore, they're a long bore. They just use the longer bodies, but the bore is pretty much the same as the Traxxas slash. They're the same length as the rear Traxxas slash. I mean, that's pretty much what you're getting. I think these are different though, maybe. But the point is, these are a little wider, so there's more oil capacity. That's why I'm putting them on my Tmaxx. More oil capacity. It's a heavy vehicle. That's the Nitro. It has a 3.3 engine in it. So I shall be installing the greens in the rear and the black ones in the front. And the reason why, it's not that I had a color preference, I just picked up 2 different colors so I can tell the fronts from the rears. Yes, I could have done it based on the spring, that is correct, but mainly it's for the oil. So the fronts will have the Traxxas stock oil, which is 30 or 35 weight, it doesn't say. But this is a 40 weight, so I'm using 40 weight in the rear just to slow down the rate at which it squats or when it lands. The front, I want the lighter oils, the Traxxas oil, just the suspension reacts. Once I run it, I may replace the oil, maybe go even lighter in the rear and even lighter in the front. But I won't know until I try it. So that being said, here we have all 8 of these shocks are the GTR XX-Long, which, if you get them, the part number is just I'm not sure if you can see this. Not really. But here, part number is TRA7462. And it's just the last thing that changes. So if there's nothing at the end, that's generally the blue. If there's an X, you get the black ones. And the green one should be a G on the green one. I can just confirm. It is a G. So it's just a G for the green. So you can get blue, green. I'm not sure about red. But just try using an R. Maybe that'll give you the red. But here we go. So when you're setting up GTR shocks, let's just say you're doing this for the first time for your slash. It could be your slash, bandit, whatever, rustler. These are the rear. Or in my case, Tmaxx, because these are much better than the Tmaxx kit. It is more expensive. The kit for the Tmaxx is about $100. Shocks and springs. These you're looking at about $150 for everything, because you have to buy everything in pairs. But you're just going to pour some oil, then you're going to move the shaft up and down so that it moves the piston up and down. And as you could see, there are air bubbles that are coming out, and then you're just going to top it off. And when you're topping off, try to drop. If you put this in contact with this or don't lean it too much, it's just going to spill oil because the oil is just going to run through the lid. This is it, and then just move it up and down again. And then you just grab the cap, and the cap you're just going to set on top. Go left first until you hear a double click. Let me just get it closer to the microphone, see if you can hear the double click. And that's it. So that's the double click. Once you do that, now you can start going right. And the reason why you want to go left and hear that double click is because the body's aluminum, the cap is plastic. So if you just try threading it on, you may cross thread the threads in the cap. And that's just a disaster. So now I went ahead and closed it. I'm just working the piston up and down. Now you will be able to feel pack. So here it really wants to rebound. I'm going to get rid of that shortly. That just puts too much pressure inside of the cylinder. And the way I do that is I'm going to hold it on the table and I'm going to press down. So I'm going to be compressing the shock all the way, and I'm going to be backing out the cap until it releases that pressure. Actually, it's easier if you started here before the compression. Now I can start doing this. So twist as if you were removing it. And once it seats, in other words, compresses fully, you're going to see a few little air bubbles come out and a little bit of oil. Just wipe it off. But now everything is good. So this is smooth. It will come out slightly, but not all the way. And that's fine. Right, very slow, and then you can push it out. But that is it. All right. Well, now I have two shocks here, right? The question is, whoa, which is which? I put oil on one of them, but not the other. Well, it's this one. But you can just feel them. This one feels heavier because of the oil, but let's just say you can't tell the difference. Maybe you're working with a smaller bore. As soon as you finish a shock, for example, this one, filling it with oil, just move this down. Because usually these are up all the way when they're brand new. So just move it down. Actually, just line it up if you have to. It's about one more turn. Then if you have to leave for whatever reason, you can't put the spring on and finish it off, you just leave it there, you come back. Okay, this is the one I worked on. And that is it. Versus this one, you know you still have to work on. And these here, again, I really like them. The first generation of this type of shock, or at least I should say the previous generation, did not have a screw here. So these would sometimes come off. Now, I believe all of the new ones have this little screw that just goes through here, and it holds it in place so that they don't fall out. Sometimes they wouldn't fall out completely. Sometimes they would, but sometimes they wouldn't fall out completely. What would happen, I will show you on this one, is, well, if I use the spring, it'll be better. It would not fall out completely. It would just fall maybe right about here, so then the spring would be hitting it and it would be crooked, so it would land something like this. Or, well, yeah, that's usually what would happen. But now with the screw, you do not have to worry about that. Now, something else. If you buy these GTR shocks, and let's just say you did not have a Traxxas Ultimate or something that came with these stock, you probably did not get this wrench. So you're going to have to find a wrench that's about this size, which, let's see, I'm going to measure it really quick. This is a 16 millimeter wrench. So you're going to need a 16 millimeter wrench if you do not have one of these. This is the wrench that comes with Traxxas vehicles that are equipped with these shocks, such as the Ultimate. They used to have, no, the Ultimate's the one they used to have. I'm thinking of the Platinum. Platinum's the one that comes with everything, transmitter, the works. Ultimate was one that they used to have, but they discontinued. I'm not sure why. Maybe they weren't selling that many. I don't know. It was a good truck. But let's see, so this one again, just going to fill it. And the reason why you need the wrench for this is they come tight out of the factory for some reason. I don't know why. They're really, really tight. And then sometimes through use, they will tighten again. So you probably saw that large air bubble. There's some small air bubbles coming out now. This is all you do. You just fill them up with air and just move the shaft up and down. So you can't see the piston from here. Or maybe you can. But that'll just push it up and down, and it'll displace the air with oil. And then after that, just top it off. All right. And again, place the cap, twist left first until you hear that double click. That wasn't very loud. I'll do it again. There. There was a click, click. Now you start going right. I'm going to close it. There's some excess. Just have a little rag because it will spill some oil. And do try to keep it upright. This was almost close, that's why I leaned it. But try to keep it upright as you're closing it. Alright, here we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing. It's closed. You're going to feel that pressure there, that pack. Right now I'm just moving it to push the air out. Alright, that being said and done, I'm going to again hold it. So I'm holding it on the table and just pressing down, and then I'm going to start opening up the cap. So start opening up the cap and keep pushing down. And here, let me see if you can see, but I'll twist the bottom there. You'll see just a little bit of oil and air bubbles come out. As soon as that leaks out, just close it. Clean everything, and then make sure it feels like the other one. Something that you may want to do is you may want to compare the two side by side. I'm not going to. But what you do is you grab them, compress them, then release them. And they should be about the same length once they expand on their own. But here we go. This is almost finished. And we just need that screw. Now once you assemble everything, if you were working on a slash, you would only have 2 of these for the rear and then 2 for the front. The front ones are a little shorter. But you can just grab them and make sure you have the same length, so you can measure from here to here just to make sure that it's the same length so that the springs are compressed the same. And then all the fronts should match, all the rears should match. So green is going to be for the rear, and the black ones are going to go up front. Right, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.